Yes, everybody, it's Dave from Talking Walls. We're back for another match preview today. As you can see, alongside Mr. Harry Mansell. Harry, how's it going, man?
Yeah, good mate. Cheers for having me back on.
No problem. Harry's from the 77 Club podcast. I believe he was on the Liverpool preview a few weeks ago for the FA Cup game. So if you're not caught Harry's YouTube channel or the 77 Club podcast, make sure you go and check that out in the description down below. But Harry, normally we start off these previews sort of looking back at the last league game, which of course for Wolves was that game against Manchester City. I went to it. I'd assume you watched it on TV, did you?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah.
Um, can you put it into words? That game, it was difficult, wasn't it?
Uh, well, I was pretty confident going into it, but obviously the sending off after being 1-0 down, we're never going to come back from that, are we really? Even though we had a good chance just after being 1-0 down with 10 men. But yeah, they were too good, weren't they? City and us having 10 men, we were never going to get anything out of it, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, I said it. I said it on the review. I don't think any team in the world would beat Manchester City with 10 men, and it's difficult, let alone with 11 men. So, um,
Exactly.
yeah, so we've got to bounce back from that. And albeit, I mean, Leicester City, who we're going to be talking about today, we just had a quick word about it before we kicked off. You've spoke to a Leicester fan on your podcast as well. So they're currently sat in eighth place. They are 31 points, so 2 points more than Wolves at the moment. But the atmosphere there isn't fantastic at the moment. Claude Puel, as their manager, he's actually under a little bit of danger at the moment. Although they've had such a good run and such a decent start to the season. You even look at their fixtures. Okay, they lost against 10-man Southampton last weekend. They lost in the FA Cup to Newport. But they've got wins against Everton, Man City, and Chelsea in and around the Christmas period. So, Harry, they're getting big wins. But what do you think the main reason that Puel's under such pressure for?
Yeah, like you mentioned there, we had a Leicester fan on, and he was saying they're just not happy with the style of play. It's a lot of side-to-side stuff, and I think even Jamie Vardy came out saying he's not happy with the tactics. He's used to be on the last man, isn't he?
Yeah.
Counter-attack, on the shoulder, and get in there. So yeah, I think it's just a style of play. But like you said, they are getting the result, so it's a bit of a surprise. But yeah, they're not happy. The Leicester fans said they're split 50-50, and half the fans wanting to stay, half the fans wanting to go. But eighth in the league, it's hard to moan, isn't it?
Yeah, really hard to sniff at that as well. And you look at their next four games. If it is true and the owners are putting pressure on the manager as well, the Wolves game is really a must win for Leicester because they've got obviously us, and then the next three games are Liverpool, United, and Spurs, two of which are away from home. So you really think they've got to try and get a result against us if he's got any chance of keeping his job?
Yeah, definitely, and it's a big game for us as well, isn't it?
Yeah,
With the games we've got coming up for the best of the rest spot, if you like
yeah.
the seventh downwards. It's a big game, so obviously we can leapfrog them if we win, and I think that should be our aim to finish, in like eighth, seventh place, something like that. But it's a big game. I'm quietly confident because, like I just mentioned, maybe some players are not happy under Puel, even though they are eighth in the league. Hopefully, the bad vibes in their camp works to our advantage, and we can get the result against them.
Yeah, so now Wolves have got a run of a couple of league games at home. Obviously, wedged in between that, we've got that FA Cup tie against Shrewsbury as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Nuno lines up for that one. But obviously, we normally go with the match facts for these sort of games. But the only ever time Wolves played at home against Leicester in the Premier League was back in October 2003. I'm sure some of you guys would remember that one. Wolves 3-0 down at half time, coming back to win that game 4-3. Wolves at home, they've lost 5 of their last 7 home games, winning the other 2. They only lost 2 of the first 27 league home games under Nuno as well. So it's a bit of a shock at the moment. Leicester are looking to win 3 consecutive away league games for the first time since April 2016 as well. And Leicester have scored in 18 Premier League games this season, more than any other Big Six side in the competition as well. And only Cardiff have conceded the first goal in more Premier League games this season than Leicester. So obviously that bodes well, hopefully, for Wolves at Harry. Because I think the reason maybe we're not getting results at the moment or struggling to win games is that we're not really getting those goals early enough, are we?
That's the big thing, yeah. I think the stats show that late on in second half of games, that's when we tend to get our goals. But it's going to be a tough game. Hopefully, the way I see it, hopefully it's similar to like the Southampton and the Bournemouth wins, where it'll probably be quite close. But
Yeah.
hopefully we can over the line and get like a 2-0 win or something like that. Hopefully keep a clean sheet again, get some confidence back with our defenders. Obviously, Dendoncker will probably slot in there for Bolly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping. I think it's important we win. Like you mentioned, with our home form, was it lost 5 in the last 7 at
Yeah.
home? So I think we've got to turn that round and start making Molineux a place where we
Fortress.
win
Yeah.
a lot again. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. We really need to get Molyneux. It's just not. It doesn't feel like last season we could go to every game almost knowing that we were going to get something out of the games, and now we're coming into games such as the likes of Leicester City, and where we probably felt more confident going into the Liverpool game or the Spurs game or whatever than we are going into this sort of match. But yeah, I agree with you. As long as it is more like the sort of Burnley or the Southampton games rather than the likes of the Palace game where it was fairly close for the majority and then they nicked that goal and just killed the game off. I really do hope we go out there and prove something, because although we've had such a decent start to the season, there are still places to be won in the team, especially now with a couple of injuries, couple of suspensions with Willy Bolly. Let's talk about the lineup. Obviously, I'd assume we're going to stick with Patricio in goal. So do you reckon Dendonker's going to slot into Willy Bolly's place?
Yeah, I would. I think he's been brilliant, Dendoncker. He was good when he went there against City for Bolly. You could argue Sace could go in there,
Yeah.
but for me, I'd have Dendoncker, and I'd probably change the formation slightly again because obviously he's been playing Moutinho, hasn't he, just behind Jota and Jimenez.
Yeah.
So I'd probably go back to Jimenez with 2 wingers either side, maybe like Jota or Traore, either side of him. But we'll see what Nuno does. He seems to like that system with Moutinho in behind Jota and Jimenez. So yeah, for me, Dendoncker slots in for Bolly and maybe shake it up a bit at the forward line.
I'd agree with that. I think I'd go back to the 3 up top, and I think he may well do that. I think Jota's done enough to obviously keep his place, and Jimenez.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see if I honestly think Adama may get the nod again. So he's going to be playing those 3 up top, and then obviously Neves and maybe Moutinho in the middle together. We've got Johnny and Doherty. There's been rumours of a few full-backs or wing-backs being rumoured as well. Do you think, obviously it was harsh again on Vinagre just to get pushed out of the team because he had a decent performance against Liverpool. Do you think he deserves maybe a nod in these sort of games against teams, no disrespect to Leicester, that are a lot more winnable than the Big Six?
I think he does deserve it, but I don't think he will put him in. I think he'll stick with me and Doherty as he always does. Just on the front 3 with Traore, he got a lot of criticism, didn't he, Traore against City? But I thought he did well when he come on, so that's why I think he deserves a starting place because he worked quite hard. He was on his own up there against City, and he caused them a few problems. So just for that, I would hope to see Traore start as well.
It's very hard to criticise players like that anyway because he had, one next to no service in the game. He was on his own against one of the best defences in the world. What else is he expected to do there? It was so difficult. We didn't have a sniff all game, so I wouldn't judge anyone, or you can't judge anyone on a performance like that. And when he actually did get the ball, he drove forward and created things. So let's move on to a score prediction then, Harry. Obviously, game against Leicester City, what are you going for?
I'm going to go for a comfortable 2 or 3. I'll go for a 2-0 win.
2-0 win. Right. I'm staying safe. I'm actually sitting on the fence again. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. Although, Harry, your prediction does sound much better to me anyway. I really hope we do get the 3 points anyway. That's it. Guys, obviously the transfer window as well has only got a couple of weeks left. Wolves yet to sign anyone in the first team, but hopefully we get a few more transfers. There's been a few rumours. In particular, there's a striker from Sparta Prague, 6'7". His name escapes me now. Tete, I think he's called. There was a rumour Wolves had put a bid in for him, and another rumour today, or his agent had spoke to a Czech radio station that there has been a big offer from an English club. So that may be Wolves, who knows, but if there is, obviously we'll bring more videos on that. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe down below. You can go and check out Harry's channel. A link to that will be in the description, and the 77 Club podcast as well. Hopefully you enjoy the game. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below, but until next time, we'll see you all very, very soon.